Hey guys, it's me, Ongo the Orange here, and I've been making a speedrunnable movement game about grappling and swinging around. In this video, I'm going to show you how I upgraded the heck out of the game's aesthetic and visuals, as well as how I created a new primary movement mechanic that resembles bunny hopping. Let's get into it. From where we left off last time, I had just created a set of new levels after putting game audio in it. As much as I hate to admit it, these levels just simply did not look good. Everyone playing my game is going to have eyes, so I need to make things look a lot better if I want people to be interested enough to stick around for the gameplay. I first found this great procedurally generated grid texture that could be used in all sorts of robust ways. After somewhat figuring how it worked, I managed to create a few textures that I was happy with. Things were looking really good. It was already a huge improvement compared to the previous textures. There were a few problems, however. For my existing levels, many of the blocks are modeled in a way that the grid just doesn't really work on them. Because of this, I had to yet again redesign a series of new levels. This iteration would have an added focus on maintaining the aesthetic of the game while balancing the flow of gameplay. To make sure that I didn't need to continuously put point lights throughout the stage to keep things well lit, I gave each wall a fluorescent band near the top. The level was starting to have a laboratory/backrooms vibe. Now that I had light sources in my levels, I could finally fully utilize a more advanced lighting system. Previously, my game was using only real-time lighting, which is when lights are simulated as the game is playing. There's an alternate way to handle lighting, which is baking it onto a light map. This basically tells the game to calculate every ray of light and how it bounces beforehand, and then simply applies the image onto the surface of each object for much more detailed and graphical displays. This makes the game perform much better and improves the quality of shadows and textures overall. The only problem is, baked lighting doesn't work on moving objects. All the lighting is already calculated when you start the game, and when something moves, things like the shadows, the sheen, the angle at which the light bounces off of it, it all changes. That meant that my baked lighting was ignoring my player, which was causing my cube to be pitch black even though it was in the midst of a very well lit room. I tried a few dozen solutions to try and make things work, but I would often screw things up even more as a result. Eventually, I found an elegant solution that involved creating a directional light that would only interact with the player and the ground floor while ignoring everything else, and then tweaking the baked lighting to suit the now shinier floor. I'm really happy with how the game looks now. I'm also very excited to tell you about the two new mechanics that I implemented for this build of the game. In version 2 of the game, the player had access to two abilities: grapple and pounce. In the third version of the game, you can now use the bounce and descend abilities. The bounce mechanic is a smaller jump that allows you to maintain momentum while having greater control over the direction your cube is going. Like bunny hopping, consecutive bounces will gradually result in increased speed, but this extra speed can be detrimental as you could go flying into an obstacle if you don't think about where you land. The bounce can also be used after a grapple to maintain that hard-earned speed that you may have accumulated after a grapple, as well as doing sharp turns the moment you land. As I created more levels and played around with bouncing around, I tweaked the values of the bounce to my liking, but I noticed that there were often moments where I wished that I had more control over where I landed, which is when I thought of the descend mechanic. The descend mechanic is just as, if not simpler, than the bounce mechanic. If you are in the air, you can hit the descend button, left shift by default, to cause the cube to begin falling faster until it finally hits the ground. This gives players control over where they land while maintaining the idea that you shouldn't overcommit to movement options if you don't have to, since you can't stop a descend after you've started it. In addition to helping with choosing where to land, descends are great for accumulating speed right before you grapple. You can easily convert a lot of vertical speed into horizontal speed, but the timing can be tricky at times. With practice, you'll be going fast in no time. You might have noticed that I also replaced white blocks with these cool new shiny bars. I'm getting more confidence in my 3D modeling skills, and you can see that I was feeling a bit creative too when I put the fluorescent bands on the ends of the bars. They add a lot to the overall atmosphere of the game. Here's what the game currently looks like after all the major changes. I'm especially proud of a particular time where I had a light bulb moment when I went, I wonder if it's possible to maintain enough momentum here to skip this really slow part. Boing, boing, boing. Alright. This time I'm too fast. This is worth practicing though. No. I missed. That was not bad. That was not bad at all. Okay, okay. Not bad at all. Let's see if I can make it. Why do I screw that up so much? Okay, okay. I screwed it. I can't do this part. Oh my lord, I almost did it. Oh. It proved to be really difficult, but after several tries, I got this run. I did it, 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 I did it. Oh yeah, I did it. I freaking did it, let's go. Woo, that's the... The game is now really runnable, and despite it only having 7 levels, there's a lot of nuance and depth to explore. If you want to help discover shortcuts and tech, join the Discord server. I'll put the link in the comments down below. We've got a few people running the game already, although it's sort of being dominated by one dude right now. We need that competition. Come and join and show everyone else who's boss. As for what's to come for Sentient Cube, yes, that's what I've been calling the game, and now I'm rolling with it. Version 4 will be introducing a story to the game, where I'm hoping to establish a narrative that involves a narrator that's surprised but happy to see that a default cube he placed in his game just randomly started moving on its own. Version 4 feels like it's going to be the biggest update to the game, so I hope it won't take me too long. My guess is that I'll be done with it before the end of 2024, so that's around a month and a half for me to write all the dialogue of the narrator, record it, and create levels based around the dialogue. I'm aiming for a 1 hour long play session, and I'm looking forward to just how fast speedrunners can push the fastest time. I'm guessing maybe 20 minutes. By the time version 4 comes out, I hope to put the game in early access on Steam, so that everyone can come join in on the fun. I don't really believe in charging people for incomplete work, so for the entire duration that Sentient Cube is in early access, it'll be free to play. We can think about pricing after I finish, but I'm thinking about making the game $1, since I sort of have this internal rule that if a game is worth its salt, then it'll generally offer an hour of solid good fun for every dollar you spend, if not more. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned by subscribing so you can be notified when I complete version 4. This is Ango the Orange, signing out.